Hi all, how you doing? Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Okay, my glasses are a bit weird. They're my wife's glasses. I can't find mine. But anyway, I need the glasses to read. So I'm going to do a bit of reading today, but not too much. So this is about Gurhan Kiziloz. Now, as many of you know who've invested in Blockdag, you've probably heard of him, but really don't know too much about him. He's kind of, or a lot of people assume he's the silent one who's in charge of the finances in Blockdag. And the reality is Anthony Turner's not in charge, although Anthony Turner won't admit to who really is in charge. But like I said, many people suspect that Gurhan Kizilos, or GK, as many people keep calling him, is actually in charge. He's like a person who's born in Turkey and is now a uh, UK citizen. Now, I found out some information on this website called cybercriminal.com, and I haven't written this, so this isn't my opinion of him. I just want to make that point clear. This is a guy called, who's written this now? Might be on the other one. So this is an article on cybercriminal written by a guy called Joy Boy. I don't think that's his real name. So let's just have a quick look at this. I'm not going to read it all, but I will leave links to both of these articles and you can take your time and look at it yourself. So Gurhan Kiziloz, the figure once celebrated for his bold ventures in fintech and cryptocurrency, has become increasingly associated with controversy and skepticism. It's got here fact check score 80% trust score, so quite high. Although what you could say about that is you don't know which is true and which isn't. Okay, I'm not sure how they get this figure of 80%, but so be it. Um, so Gurhan Kizilos, the early years and career. Was born 27th 1989, began his career in the world of sales and digital marketing. Despite attending London Metropolitan University, Kizilos did not complete his formal education, but instead took a more self-driven path toward entrepreneur. I can never say this word. Being a businessman. He honed his skills in sales and business development, which eventually led him to found his first major business venture. From the outset, Kizilos was known for his bold ambitions. His career trajectory involved working with a variety of companies, gaining valuable insights into business operations and corporate training. As his expertise in sales and online marketing grew, Kizilos realized that he had a unique ability to market new ideas and products, especially in the world of digital finance and technology. It was this skill in marketing and sales would later prove both a strength and a weakness. Yeah, basically, if you talk porcupines, in other words, if you tell a load of lies in your marketing, it's going to come back and bite you. It may sound good when you in the short term, but long term, it's going to come back and bite you. I mean, and this is the thing about this. You know, people saying how great he is at marketing. Well, if you don't tell the truth, if you bend the truth all the time, um, then you can say anything you like, and some people out there are gullible enough to believe you. But then when it comes to actually executing those marketing statements that you've made and you've promised, it quite often comes out to be a big failure. And that is what seems to happen here. It's like he seems to promise stuff and then not deliver, from what I can gather reading all of this. So Lannister, the dream of a fintech revolution. So basically, what this was the idea was to instead of using banks, you just use Lannister, and it would be a one-stop shop for everything financial. Okay, your credit cards, your debit cards, your crypto, your loans, whatever, everything to do with finance. So everything under uh one roof. Okay, so that sounds really great, but unfortunately, it didn't quite materialize. Big Eyes coin basically marketed this, and this dropped like so here Big Eyes raised over 40 million in its initial pre-sale phase, attracting investors with promises of quick returns. So again, that's something that you shouldn't promise. Okay, so clearly when you're promising that about crypto, you it can't necessarily be true. All right, you're promising something that you cannot necessarily deliver. How can everybody become rich from one crypto? It's not possible. Okay, there has to be some losers in general. Um, Not always, by the way, but yeah, you can't make those promises. All right, and the Financial Conduct Authority and authorities like that are just going to come down heavy on you when you start making promises like that. It's just ridiculous. However, the aftermath was far from promised success. So, in other words, not everyone became rich. In fact, hardly anyone did, other than the people behind it, probably. Once the coin launched, its value plummeted almost immediately. And we've seen this with so many pre-sales. I've talked about this on probably about 100 projects where they basically dump very early on. They lose like 60% of their worth. And many people can't even get hold of the token. And exactly the same thing happened with Big Eyes, except it seemed to dump about 99%. So basically, he made misleading promises in his marketing, which is the sort of thing that he seems to do quite a bit. And then this is other project, Nexus International with Meg and Megaposter, a growing empire with ethical issues. So while Kizilos's involvement in fintech and cryptocurrency faltered, he continued to expand his business empire through Nexus International, a company focusing on online gaming and gambling platforms. So obviously you're on shaky ground when you're doing gambling, straight away, I feel. One of the company's most successful products, Megaposter, generated impressive revenue figures, reportedly surpassing $400 million in 2024. Megaposter catered to the Latin American market, offering online betting and services and casino games. Now, they targeted the South American market because it's an easier market to target. It's got less financial regulations in place. So you can pretty much sort of do what the hell you like. Okay. However, Nexus International and its gaming platform were not without controversy. Critics of Kizilos's approach pointed out that Megaposter's business model was based on user addiction. Okay. A common criticism of many online gambling platforms that use psychological triggers to keep users engaged and spending. This reliance on addictive behaviors for financial gain raised significant ethical concerns about Kizilos's business practices, which again seem to prioritize quick profits over long-term responsibility. Um, so that's pretty shady, isn't it? I mean, taking advantage of people who get addicted. I mean, that's really low, isn't it? That's low on the totem pole, that is. That's not a good business model whatsoever, is it? I mean, come on. People could be looking after, they could have wives. I'm just saying, as a man, you could have a wife, you could have children, dependent on money and what you're doing, you're getting them to increase their gambling. Okay, gamble all the money away. The wife and the kids have got no food to eat because the husband's gambled it all away, or whatever. The woman's gambled it all away. It's not good. Okay. And we see that in the UK and probably the US, where um, I know we see it in the UK because I'm from the UK, and I see lots of adverts about taking time out from gambling and stuff like that. So in the UK, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but it'd be interesting to know what it's like actually in South America. If there's anyone from South America watching, what kind of gambling adverts do they have on? Because they have the adverts, that say how great a site is, but they also have adverts saying, "Oh, I think one of the ones which is advertised by Chris Rock, I think it is MGM Casino. Is it MGM Casino? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure he's on like a speedboat or something like that, and then he sort of says things like, "Oh, you can have a timeout." And so there's a whole advert on basically timeout and stop gambling, don't gamble all the time, put limits on your gambling and that kind of thing. So I don't know if other countries have that kind of thing, but I know we definitely have that in the UK, and I've seen it on many um like Paddy Power does it as well. I've seen the adverts for Paddy Power where you stop gambling, you timeouts and that kind of thing. So I don't know if they have that kind of thing advertised in South America. I don't know. Celebrity endorsements and marketing tactics, a double-edged sword. So he basically apparently used Kevin De Bruyne. I didn't know about that. Former City player, now playing with Napoli. Also from the Belgium team and one of the top players to ever play football, basically. So Kevin De Bruyne, KDB, as people call him, and Tommy Fury from the boxing, promoted Lannister. And Big Eyes Coin was integral to the success of his marketing campaigns. Um, Kisilos's marketing tactics extended beyond traditional advertising. His use of fake news articles, okay, paid promotion. So we've seen this with a lot of pre-sales, crypto pre-sales, where they advertise on a network of crypto sites, crypto news kind of sites, and who knows if he owns these sites. But basically he floods them with articles which are over exaggerated. I've seen articles where you can say you get 20,000 times as much. Um, so that's clearly ridiculous marketing. So he's more into short term, get people in short termism, and not really long term projects or anything like that. Legal and ethical dilemmas, a questionable business model, fallout, investor losses, and reputation damage. Okay. And then there's another page here, which has got some, basically it gives him 2.1 out of 5, and this bit here, 1.9 or something out of 5. I don't quite know. Very low. Um, I can't read that. Threat level. These glasses aren't very good for me. So here, what have we got here? Regulatory warning. FCA flagged Lanistar in 2020 for operating without authorization. False advertising. ASA found Lannister's most secure card claim misleading. Workplace abuse. Ex-staff accused Kiziloz of bullying, sexism, and unpaid wages. Legal dispute. Former CEO sued Kiziloz for 370,000 unpaid pay. Debt issues. Lannister faced winding up petitions over unpaid debts. Funding claims. Reported multi-million funding appears exaggerated. And then there's a 85 out of 100, highly accurate, basically. So just going over some of these allegations, risks, recent developments. Who is Gurhan Kiziloz? Born in Turkey, founded Lannister in 2019, with the goal of creating a 1 billion fintech unicorn targeting millennials and Gen Z. So I'll leave links to Gurhan Kiziloz and you can read them here. But it doesn't it's not very good reading for him in my opinion. And so if this guy is behind Blockdag, Okay. And I'm not saying he is. Okay. Um, but there's a lot of he has something to do with it, that's for sure, for them from the marketing point of view. But whether he's anything more, I'm not gonna say. But a lot of people think he is behind Blockdag. So let me know in the comments what you think. And personally speaking, I would avoid anything that's got this guy um, to do with it personally. But that's entirely up to you what you want to put your money into. It's your money. You can do what you like with it.